Let's talk about creativity. As creators, as artists, as entrepreneurs, each and every day there's a heroic battle that takes place in our own minds. That battle is with resistance. We all know it real well. Resistance stands in direct opposition to our potential life. For any impulse calling you forward to great things, to great embodiment, to great undertakings, there's an equally strong force that stands in your way. Resistance stands between where you are and your higher nature, your higher manifestation. Resistance will do anything to deter, distract, and derail your growth. Today, inspiration fills your head with dreams. Tomorrow, resistance fills your head with doubts. When we procrastinate, when we feel lazy, when we distract ourselves, when there's those insidious voices in our heads telling us to start a new project or just quit or go do something else or we're not worthy, we are hearing the voice of resistance. The voice of the resistance is the little man within, telling you that you're not good enough, telling you or trying to distract you in all the most insidious ways. And if we want to level up as creators, as entrepreneurs, it is all about turning pro. Now, this book by Steven Pressfield, along with The War of Art, are two Bibles for creators, for entrepreneurs. And it does a detailed outline of outlining what is the enemy and how do we face it consistently. Turning pro essentially means going from amateur to professional, going from a hero to a warrior. The amateur, you see, does what he feels like doing. Maybe one day he writes for 2 hours, and then he takes it the next day off, and then he writes for 30 minutes, and then he's inspired by this idea, so he goes off on that tangent, and then blah, 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 blah. And resistance just leads this amateur off on this whirlwind of creativity without any direction, without any focus, without any real tangible results. It can also lead you into shadow calling, shadow work, all this other tangential thing that is essentially stopping you from doing what you are called to do and giving your gifts fully. The professional, on the other hand, the professional shows up each day as if he's going to a job. Really think about your entrepreneurial venture, your book you're writing, your content you're creating, the art you're doing as a job. You clock in, you clock out, right? And at that job, it doesn't matter how you're feeling, what your mind says. The boss, you, have told yourself this is what must be done. You're clear on what must be done, and you attack forward into it. So in that turning pro, what are some things that can really help us along the way? Two things, my friends. The first one is the warrior spirit. Now, I've talked quite a bit about the warrior spirit on this channel, and it is essentially that all-in, no holds barred attitude. It's do or die mentality. The warrior spirit moves with determination, guts, and gusto, right? The warrior spirit is essentially about the mood of the warrior. This is the key, my friends. When it comes to your work, it's about getting the mood correct. The mood, the attitude of the warrior is one of impeccability, determination, courage, and initiative. When we start to cultivate that, before we go into our work, cultivate that sheer determination, like we will engage with our full heart and mind no matter what. Might be the most tedious thing, but it's about the process. The warrior is concerned with how he is, the attitude, his state of being, his presence, and moving into things with all of him, right? The warrior spirit, my friends, if anything is going to change your life in regards to your craft, your creativity, your venture, it is determination and the warrior spirit. When you're determined, my friends, you can pull guts and you can pull fire from your guts and move through barriers you previously thought were insurmountable. In fact, when we're embodied in the warrior spirit, these big obstacles, these huge pressures of resistance, this feeling of overwhelmed in the creative process, all of a sudden gives way to higher delights of spirit and mind. All of a sudden gives way to exuberance and inspiration. My friends, every obstacle is an opportunity if we are embodied in the warrior spirit. The warrior spirit says, if something must be done, do it now with all vigor. Go forth, resolve to do your best, my friends, and go forth as a flame, and mountains shall fall to you. The second way to approach your work that transmutes resistance into, action and success is to be a craftsman. My friends, one time back in the day, young KB, when I was about 10, I was in my grandparents' garage for a week straight, crafting a bow and arrow. I found a stick that was pretty straight, some fishing line, whittling the arrows with the feather and nocking it for, an arrowhead. The whole shebang, a week straight, morning to sunset. And I would just wake up and I would forget to eat. My grandparents would have to bring me food. I was so engaged in the craft, nothing else mattered. It was that zone of deep work, of flow. You see, the craftsman forgets to eat when he's working on his craft. The artist forgets to sleep when she's doing her art. The inventor forgets of sex entirely when he is fully engaged in the world of ideas. But all we can think about is sex, food, and sleep when we have started nothing of value to our soul. My friends, if resistance is killing you, feelings of stagnation will abound. And all of this, like depression, anxiety, frustration will come out of nowhere and we don't really know why. The deepest reason, my friends, is because we are not doing what we are meant to do. We are not singing the tune of our soul, right? When we're not doing what we are meant to do, all of a sudden outside forces of addiction, depression, all these other things will come into our life to take the place of our duty, of our creative work, right? So again, being the craftsman is a way through resistance. It is not getting so caught up in, this is the final product I'm creating. This is what I'll get from it. There's no transaction in the craftsman. He is obsessed with the beauty of the process, the beauty of the craft. I love this image of the ancient Greeks singing psalms up to their god of craft. Let me think of his name. It was started with an H, I forget. The god of crafts and craftsmen. And they would basically consecrate all their work up to that god, right? It wasn't an act to make something to sell. It was an act to honor the sacred work of crafting. So when we come at, building a web page, come at our art project, come at the book we're writing, come at the videos we're making, as a craftsman, it is no longer about the end result or what we're even doing. It's all about the process and fucking loving the process and becoming excellent at it. Thanks for watching this short video on Wisdom Warriors. I'm Christian. If you're a creator, entrepreneur, young man or woman, and want to get mentoring or talk to me one-on-one, I offer free discovery calls. Link in the description below for that. Also, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to get notified of future videos like this. Would love to hear your thoughts below. Peace.